Yes, and in my time I have dealt with better men than you are, and never once did they disregard me. Never yet have I seen nor shall see again such men as these were. These were the strongest generation of earth-born mortals, the strongest, and they fought against the strongest, the beast men living within the mountains, and terribly they destroyed them. I was of the company of these men, coming from Pylos, a long way from a distant land, since they had summoned me. And I fought single-handed, yet against such men no one of the mortals now alive upon earth could do battle. Homer, Iliad. Nestor to Achilles and Agamemnon. Facts. In the single year 1992, classicists published and reviewed 16,168 articles, monographs, and books about the Greeks and Romans. The work of over 10,000 individual scholars appeared in nearly 1,000 different journals. We are a busy profession in our 11th hour. Researchers on Homer's Iliad and Odyssey alone produced more than 200 publications in 9 modern languages, not including the scores of studies of the historical, archaeological, and linguistic background to the Homeric texts. These articles and books represent officially published material. Perhaps as much was written in even more obscure journals or local academic newsletters and bulletins. A comparison of the professional output of 1992 with that of 1962 reveals the remarkable growth in the industry of classical scholarship in just the past 3 decades. Twice as many scholars now publish 50% more material in twice as many journals. A reference aid containing abbreviations of journals, series, and standard works that classicists frequently find in the scholarship of their discipline lists more than 4,400 separate titles. J. S. Wellington, Dictionary of Bibliographic Abbreviations found in the Scholarship of Classical Studies and Related Disciplines, Westport, Connecticut, 1983, page XI. No classicist alive knows even the serial numbers of his trade anymore, so enormous has the machinery of academic production become. Scholars themselves cannot even keep up with the publications in their own subspecialty of classics. The author of a recent 470-page book on the Iliad, for example, comments at the beginning of his bibliography, itself 25 pages containing over 700 items. A few sources mentioned in passing in the notes I have omitted in the interest of economy as peripheral. Even in works central to the Homeric question, there can be no question of completeness. K. Stanley, The Shield of Homer, Narrative Structure in the Iliad, Princeton, 1993, page 427. Scholars, who now write for a few dozen or so readers, confess that after reading some 700 secondary works in their field, even they cannot master their own bibliographies. Is this abundance of classical scholarship a sign of a healthy, flourishing, and important discipline? Or is it, in fact, symptomatic and explicatory of its very demise? Different statistics might tell a very different story. At the same time as scholarly publication was soaring, the number of non-professionals in America actually reading about or studying the classical world took a nosedive. 700,000 high school students enrolled in first-year Latin in 1962. By 1976, enrollments had plunged 80% to 150,000. In but 15 years, over 500,000 fewer Americans enrolled in this fundamental class of classical studies. In this golden age of classics publication, the number of college Latin students plummeted from 40,000 in 1965 to 25,000 just 9 years later, and enrollments have not recovered. The full data on the 1990s are not yet in, but ad hoc and informal information suggests that the decline continues, if not at an accelerated rate. Between 1971 and 1991, the number of classics majors dropped by 30%, as did Greek enrollments in the decade from 1977 to 1986. Of over 1 million BAs awarded in 1994, only 600 were granted in classics, meaning that there are now 5 or 6 classics professors in the country for every senior